Hello, everyone. My name is Dominique Bond, and I am CEO and founder of Ace Ambition, which is a youth platform that teaches young men and young women how to create their own opportunities and how to monetize their ideas. This platform provides workshops that teach young people about entrepreneurship and building wealth. I'm also an empowerment speaker. I help people identify those mental barriers that's getting in their way so they can live in their purpose on a purpose. And I'm also a community organizer. I have a great topic today, and it's the 8 reasons why people dreams die. 8 reasons why people dreams die. And this is a prominent time when people are setting their goals, they're setting New Year resolutions, and there are plenty of reasons why people goals and their dreams and their aspirations die. And I'm gonna go over these things. So grab your notepad, grab a pen, and let's take some notes. So number one is they do not have a strategy. They do not have a strategy. So having a strategy and having a plan is very important. So it's very important to set your goals and write your goals, have your vision board. But if you simply don't have a plan in place, if you don't have a strategy in place, it is not going to happen. When people are trying to get to point A to point B and they have that map, it's showing you different ways in order to get to that destination. And you're going to have to list down certain tasks and a list of tasks and what is required of you in order for you to get to point A to point B. See, this is something that we'll just mark down and say, you know what, I want to have this title. I want to strive for this position. I want to start my business or whatever the case may be. And the problem is they don't know what is required of them. They don't have any steps that's going to tell them, okay, this is what you need to do first. This is what you need to do second. This is what you need to do the on step three. So it's very important when you set these goals before you even start. Is the first thing is to actually sit down and develop a plan in order to get to that destination. It's very important to identify these things so you can, and in turn, have a strategy and a plan that's going to help you get to that goal, that's going to help you obtain what you have a desire to obtain. Number two is you did not ask for help. So for many of us, we allow our ego and our pride to get in the way of us asking for help. And part of is several reasons why we allow our ego and our pride to get in the way. One reason is the fact that we don't want to seem like we're so needy, and when we don't want to seem like we're so needy, we just are worried about how people are viewing us because we don't want to look like that person that always asks for help, that always needs something. But the fact of the matter is, everyone needs something. The fact of the matter is, we all need help. And it's very important for you to understand that you're going to need people around you to help you get to where you want to get to. But majority of us are just not seeking help. We're not seeking guidance. So another thing is I want you to identify a mentor, identify a coach, identify someone who have already obtained what you have obtained, have someone who have that position that you're trying to work and obtain. Identify these people and simply reach out to them. Simply reach out to them. Give them a phone call, email them, text them, reach out to them on Facebook, reach out to them on Instagram, on social media, whatever the case may be. You have LinkedIn. That's a very important platform for people to get into. But identify these people who have already accomplished what you want to accomplish, who have already attained what you have already that you are trying to obtain, and pick their minds. Pick their minds. Some people, just don't mind you to actually reach out to them, and they don't mind asking questions. And some people, they may charge you some time, their time, in order to answer some of your questions. But the fact of the matter is, they have the knowledge, they have the wisdom, they have the expertise, they have the experience that you lack. And it's very important for you to obtain this that they have, whatever they use to get to wherever you're trying to get to, and get that get that from them, obtain that from them. So let's work to put our ego aside, put our pride aside, and really reach out to other people. Majority of the times, it's not just about us or whatever we're trying to pursue. And we're going to have to reach out to other people and really call people and say, hey, look, I need some help on this. I need help with this. I need help with this. So I really want you to identify some people that you can possibly reach out to. Identify 5 people right now. Identify 5 people whenever this video is done. Identify 5 people that you can reach out to and make it a goal this week to reach out to them. Let's start right now. Let's break the habit right now. Number 3 is you simply stopped. You stopped. And sometimes we think we're stuck. And when we think we're stuck, it's actually a feeling. It's not something that's actually a fact. It's just a feeling. And since that's just a feeling, it's probably not even true. You just probably just caught up in your feelings, and things are just not working out the way you expected to work out, or it's not going as smooth as you thought it was, and it's causing some frustration. Sometimes we allow this frustration to hold us back, to delay us, or to simply cause us to stop. It's very important to maintain or create that momentum. When we have that momentum, understand that momentum helps you obtain that success, and actually makes success a little easier because you have that momentum, you have that confidence. Your confidence is building up because, okay, I'm moving in the right direction, things are moving, I'm getting to a higher level, things are feeling good, you can see the progress, which is always a great thing. But when you stop, now that momentum is going down. Now you're seeing this time go by. You're probably spending a lot of money. You're probably getting more and more frustrated, and that momentum is going to go down, and it's going to cause you to stop. Or when you have stopped, it may cause you to delay even more, even longer. And you don't want that delay because we're on a timetable. We're trying to get to point A to point B. We're on a mission. We're trying to accomplish our goals right now. And time is not on our and time is on our side, but sometimes time is not on our side, depending on whatever we're trying to achieve. So it's very important just to keep going. Understand why you feel like you're stuck. Identify why you feel like you're stuck. Are you doing the same thing over and over again, and you're expecting different results? Because if you're doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to have to change something up. So ask yourself, okay, this didn't work. Let's try something else. Let's try something else. Let's try something else. And you have to always, always, always understand that we just can't stop. It's okay to pause and collect our thoughts. It's okay to pause and make some adjustments, but to just simply stop and just delay time and just waste time is not productive. So number 4 is you kept doing the same thing. Now this is kind of aligned with number 3, but we have to understand we can't continue to do the same thing and expect a different result. When we have done something or tried something, we have to understand, okay, this is the result that I got. Is this the result that I wanted? And if we're gonna do the same thing, ask ourselves, why am I going to do the same thing? Did I not have put the best effort? Did I not have the right people around me? Whatever the case may be, but we cannot keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. We have to understand that we're gonna have to make some adjustments, and that's okay. when we have goals, when we have things that we're striving for, we may have to change up the timetable. We may have to make some things. We may have to change around a few things, but we just can't expect the same or a different result doing the same thing. Now, number five, you didn't reflect on your mistakes. You didn't reflect on your mistakes. I really do believe that many of us, when it comes down to failure, we're not honest with ourselves when it comes to failure. I think failure is fine. I just think it's our mindset and our attitude when it comes down to failure. We have to simply understand, okay, this is my goal, and this is what I did, and this is the result, and the result is not lined up with my goal. So if you did not reach your goal, then you did fail. But that's fine. The thing is, you don't want to stop. You don't want to stop. See, when we make a mistake, there's a reason why we made the mistake. We tend to have a habit of beating ourselves and making it only about us. And in tune, what we're doing is we're beating ourselves, we're making ourselves feel bad, and this is going to kill our confidence. This is going to kill our self-esteem. This is going to kill our momentum. You see how all this is aligned right now. All this is very aligned. So it's very important when it comes down to growth, when it comes down to progression, to really understand when I make a mistake, what is my initial thought? When I make a mistake, what is my initial feeling? When I make a mistake, what am I initially doing? It's very important to identify these things. And when you're able to identify these things, it's very important to acknowledge it. And when we're able to identify it and acknowledge it, then we're able to address it. Is that understood? So when we're able to identify it, acknowledge it, then we're able to address it, because now we understand what the problem is or what the root problem is. See, it's very important to get the root, because when we get the root, then we are just crossing out the problem all throughout. And we're not going to allow the problem to come back. It's very important to understand, how are you viewing this mistake? Are you asking yourself, you know what, this is the mistake that I made. This is why I made the mistake. And now when you identify what that is, when you acknowledge it, and when you address it, you know how to address it effectively. You understand how to address it effectively. So now you're not going to make that mistake again. So make a note, make a mental note that this is the mistake I made. This is why I made the mistake. And this is not going to happen again, because I understand why I made the mistake. Now, the next thing, number 6, is very, very critical. And sometimes we beat ourselves up for this, but it's really not our fault. But sometimes we just linked up with the wrong people. And this is just simply a mistake. And it's very important to make sure that you're linked up with the right people. You linked up with people that you can actually grow from. You linked up with people that will inspire you, that will hold you accountable. You linked up with people who have the skill set that you're looking for. You're linked up with the people that have the expertise, the experience that you lack. You're linked up with people that you know that is on a higher level that you're trying to reach, higher level than you. Sometimes we just don't have the right pieces to the puzzle. Sometimes we don't have the right pieces around us that's going to uplift where we're trying to go. That's very important. It's very important to understand that sometimes you just made a mistake and you just brought in the wrong people. Sometimes you just made a mistake and the people that you put on your committee wasn't the right people. Sometimes the people that you allowed to join your team, this wasn't meant for your mission. This wasn't meant for that mission. So really take inventory and really identify who is really on your team, why they on your team, and identify, are these the right people? Do they have an understanding of your mission? Do they have an understanding of your vision? Do they have an understanding of your goals? Do they have an understanding of what is required of them? Because if they don't, I really advise you to take time out and really have a critical meeting just to make sure everyone is on the same page. And if everyone's not on the same page, then there's going to be some chaos. There's going to be some confusion. There's going to be some people who are not really giving all that they really can because they're not aligned, or their mindset and attitude is not aligned with your vision in your mission. So that's very important to make sure that you linked up with the right people. The next point is you're not giving your best effort. You're not consistent. Consistency is very important. Once again, I previously talked about momentum. Momentum is very important because it makes things seem like it's achievable. It makes success a little more easier. It creates a higher level of confidence. It boosts your self-esteem. It makes the people around you feel better. So it's very important to understand that you have to stay consistent. Are you working every day? And not just are you working every day, but are you working throughout each day? There's a difference between someone who is working every day and someone who is working every day, but they spend a lot of their time on social media. They're spending a lot of their time watching TV. They're spending a lot of their time doing something that's unproductive. So yes, you are working every day, but you're not giving your best effort. You're not giving your best effort. I tell people all the time that sometimes we have to hold ourselves accountable. If we're not able to hold ourselves accountable, then it's going to be very hard to have those moments where we can say to ourselves, you know what, I could have gave it a little more. You know what, I didn't give it 100%. I gave it 75%. I gave it 80%. And unfortunately, when we're not giving 100%, we expect great results. We expect consistent progression, consistent growth. And the fact of the matter is, life doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that at all. We can expect ourselves to consistently gain the things that we want, and we're not even giving 100%. See, it's not about us working every day. It's not about us just putting in work every day. It's about how much work are you putting in every day. It's about how much quality work you're putting in every day, because we can be putting in a lot of work, but it's a lot of work that doesn't lead to anything. We can be working and wasting time. So is your work, quote unquote work, aligned with your goals? Once again, you have to identify your goals, and you have to identify that strategy. And that strategy is going to consist of a list of tasks. So every day, every week, your regimen, your schedule has to consist of those tasks. As soon as your schedule is gets away from those tasks, then there's a good chance you may be wasting your time unless you're taking breaks. I believe in breaks. I believe that we have to keep our stress levels down so we can be more productive. But if you're doing something else that's not aligned with your goals, then there's a good chance that you're wasting your time. You're not giving your best effort. Your time is not being used in the best way. And if it's not being used in the best way, then we're simply not giving our best effort. See, this can be a little tricky And it takes maturity and it takes a lot of understanding, a lot of wisdom to identify whether we're giving a high level of effort. It's very important to identify this. We have to be real with ourselves. See, I know someone asked me the other day, you know, do you believe in being tough on yourself or being real hard on yourself? And honestly, I believe in being honest with yourself, because my understanding or my view of being hard on yourself compared to someone else can be totally different. Some people ways of being hard on themselves is really beating themselves down. Some people, when it come down to being hard on themselves, is really holding themselves accountable. And I think it's very important to have accountability partners to make sure you're giving your best effort, especially if it's a little difficult for you to hold yourself accountable. Identify some accountability partners. Let that be a goal. When this video is done, I really want you to identify some people, whether it's one person or several people. I say several people. Identify several people that you can rely on and trust to be your accountability partner. Accountability partners are people who hold you accountable based upon where you're trying to go in life, based upon the things that you're trying to accomplish and achieve. So this is very important. But when you identify these accountability partners, contact that person and really express to them what you're striving for. Really express to them where you're trying to be in life, and really explain to them your full goal, even your timetable, so they can really hold you accountable, and they'll call you up and text you and email you. And then establish some type of strategy among yourselves of how you're going to keep each other accountable. Are you going to call each other every day? Are you going to call each other once a week? Are you going to email each other your progress? Are you going to send something that's showing that this is how much you accomplished thus far? So really establish something. I mean, accountability partners can be very useful, but you all need a game plan that's going to help you both uh, stay accountable. So to practice the habit of consistency and to make sure that you having or you're giving your best effort, one tip is to have an accountability partner that's going to really help you stay accountable and eliminate those distractions, stay focused, and to keep a high level of concentration when it comes down to your goals. And the last tip, the last thing that I'm going to mention today, number 8, is to make sure you are setting realistic goals. Make sure you are setting realistic goals. See, sometimes when it comes down to our dreams, when it comes down to our goals are not realistic. So I'm not telling people not to dream big. I'm just telling people that there's a time and a place for everything. I'm telling people, or I'm telling you, that when you set a goal, we're taught to set SMART goals, and the R in SMART, in the SMART acronym, means realistic. And when we don't set realistic goals, we are essentially are striving for something that we are incapable of achieving. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that that goal can't happen, but sometimes it just means that based upon our knowledge, it won't happen, our skill set, that it may not happen, or it may not be realistic. It may mean that based upon the resources that we have, it may not be realistic, and it may mean that the timetable that we set, it may not be realistic. So, excuse me. So, it's really important to make sure that we are setting realistic goals, because this can lead to frustration. This can lead to disappointment, because little did you know that you were striving for something that you probably wasn't ready for at that moment. At that moment, you was probably striving for something where you lacked certain resources that are very critical. You was probably striving for something that you set for the to accomplish in 2 months, but it may actually need you may need 6 months, you may need a whole year to actually accomplish that. And now that causes disappointment, and that causes a certain level of frustration that can lead to the other things that I mentioned. It can lead to you stopping, you losing momentum. It can lead to you not doing so well when it comes down to your strategy. So making sure that when you have a realistic goal, now you're making it attainable, right? And sometimes when it comes down to our unrealistic goals, it's just some minor adjustments that we have to make. So really ask yourself, do I have the time to achieve this? Do I have the people around me to achieve this? Do I have the resources to achieve this? Do I have the knowledge, the skill set to achieve this? Because if you don't, then based upon your situation at that moment, it may not be realistic. So you're going to have to go back to the drawing board, go back to number one when I said no strategies, to have a strategy to possibly obtain some of these things, so that goal can be realistic. And that may be some of your tasks. That may just need to be a goal, but it just needs to be some tasks to make sure, okay, I get these resources. I get these people around me. I make sure that I have what it takes, and I'm gaining this knowledge. I'm reading these books. I'm looking at these YouTube videos. I'm looking at other things that's going to give me the knowledge and the understanding to get to point A to point B. You all, I hope these 8 steps or these 8 tips is going to help you. I really hope that you took some great notes. Go back and listen to the video. And I really want you all to not just look at the video, but to actually implement some of these things in your life, in your process. Process and strategy is so important. You can know everything in the world, but if we don't have a process in place, if we don't simply have a strategy in place, we're not going to be successful with these things. So I really want you all to subscribe to my channel, really take time out and share the video. Tag somebody else, share the video with someone else. And I really want you all to follow me on social media, really link up with me on social media, on Instagram and on Facebook. Just search for Dominique Bond and link up with me. Go to my website, dominiquebond.com. And once again, I'm an empowerment speaker, and I teach people how to identify certain mental barriers that they are putting in their way, and so they can live in their purpose on purpose. So I really hope you all enjoyed the video. And once again, my name is Dominique Bond. Please subscribe, and I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you so much.